So I think today we're going to cover angles and understanding angles and patterns of people who are playing. I guess who you're playing against. So kind of overall, a lot of the way that I kind of show how to hold angles is, for example, if we're looking at this right here, this is a line, and this is a line. This is if you cut the corner, right? So it's not really a good idea to hold angles like this or hold angles like this, like straight angles, as I call them. So straight angles are cool and everything, and they work sometimes, but a lot of the times you're going to get people on off angles, which is like, why is he standing in the center, right? Like, why is he standing in the middle of nowhere? A good example of an off angle is like, I could hold this angle and wait for the guy to push up the stairs, but he might be scaling that, right? So what I want to do is cut this off and then hold right here. So the reason I'm holding right here is because I'll see his gun if he comes across, and then if he decides to come up, I'll see his gun right here too, and I'll see him walking, and then I just shoot. And then, you know, if I want to peek extra, you can. So a lot of times, like, people don't really think about the angles that they're, you know, playing, and sometimes, you know, oh, this kid pre-fired me, you know, he did this, he did that, and most of the time it's just because you're playing the same angle every time. So a good example of like switching up your angles on how to kind of play the angle game is, you know, if I'm playing right here, right, I know that this angle is right here. So, you know, maybe if I'm opping or rifling, I can sit here and I can like peek pre-fire this angle. But instead of holding an angle like this, which is what everybody does, right? Hold an angle something like this, you know, wait till he comes out a little bit, and then you can peek, you know, and if you miss, you can peek back wide again. So, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that it's always good to hold off angles and, like, you know, hold angles like this, because then if you kill one, you see like two more, and you're like, you know, you're missing. You want to keep peeking this angle and like try to, you know, get one, and then if you can't, then you just peek wide. You know, if he comes over here, you peek wide. So this is a good example of like when to switch up your angles. You know, if you kind of want to just keep killing him behind this box, you know, for the one time you die, maybe next time you kind of do the same thing, so it looks like you're like peeking the same angle. Because once he kills you once, he's going to think that he's dominant over you. So what you need to do is change up your angles. So if you're playing here, maybe just bait him out for that angle and then come wide, because a lot of people aren't going to expect that wide peak. Also, you know, angles like this are sometimes a good idea. Maybe if you're opping, you can hold an angle like this, and the problem is if you miss, you need to fall off and get back to like a more, you know, comfortable angle. But, you know, there's a bunch of different angles in every map. I mean, like, this is a good angle right here. The only issue with this angle that I have is that if you miss, you're kind of trapped, and you can only really peek from one angle. So unless you're like a quick shoot, or you have a quick shot or you're a quick shooter, it's not really realistic to kind of pin yourself into angles like this. But again, you know, overall, let's say, you know, on the T side, kind of more on an aggressive, like when you're actually trying to read angles versus hold angles, you know, you want to peek angles like this, you know, come down, peek this angle first because he could be sitting there, then you want to come down, you'll see a shoulder, come here, and then you aim this, you know, whatever. So you always want to be making sure that you're pre-aiming the most constant angles, the ones that are going to be like normal, and like the ones that people play all the time is kind of what I'm trying to get at. So, you know, if you're pushing B tunnels, there's a couple angles you want to watch, depending on if you hear them, you know, running, or they smoke this off. He could be, you know, he could be behind this wall right here. He could be here, here, lifted up. He could be here, here, sitting back there, right there, or right here. Maybe right here. Those are pretty much the spots you need to check. Seems like a lot, right? Well, something that you can do is just kind of pick your battles, you know, like if you are going to smoke this off, you're basically going to commit to this angle and then these angles. So now you've chosen 3 angles that you're going to peek, you know, so this is pretty much clear. You're going to check this, and now you need to worry about the door and the window and the car angle, because basically he would have killed you already, you know, hopefully. He could be crouched here, but it's just not really realistic. But yeah, I mean, when you're pushing into a site, you need to realize what the ordinary angles are. For example, I'm an opper, right? So if I'm trying to push B and I have a really good spawn, I'm going to try to jump this, and I'm going to sit right here. Why? Because the majority of people who go B go like this. They jump up on here, and then they come down, right? Well, I'm going to kill them when they're jumping up right here. This is where they're meant to be. And if you get that entry pick, well, guess what? There's only one in B, and he's most likely door. Flash your way in, you know, have a rifle behind you or something, and then either get traded or get the initial frag. So, something you need to realize is, like, for example, if I was to kill this guy one time, he shouldn't go there again, but he likes this area, right? So the way that you're going to read the angle is, he's most likely going to be here, here or like somewhere like gay, where he's playing uncomfortably. He's going to be playing somewhere where, you know, he's comfortable. Obviously, this is his comfort angle, is holding something like this, you know, like this is where he's comfortable. So a lot of people aren't going to completely change up their play. So wherever you killed the guy the first time, or wherever you know where he plays all the time, he's going to be somewhere close to that. Obviously, he's not going to try to cross plat every time, especially if he gets raped right here. So the kind of angles he's going to be playing is like back here, or, you know, back here. And so the way that you need to be able to read that and say, shit, you know, if this kid, I just raped this kid at this favorite angle, he's not going to go there anymore. He's going to be around there somewhere, kind of close to where he's normally going, because then it's his comfort area. You know, angles like this are good, like cat angle. It's kind of like a 50-50, you know, if the guy doesn't push up cat, doesn't matter. You're never going to get this killed. But you can come up here and kind of, you know, give yourself a little bit more, you know, room to work with. But, you know, realistically, you just want to know where people are going to be playing. If I'm coming out of tunnels, for example, on Dust 2, I'm going to come out and I'm going to check this, because a lot of people are playing this now. And then what I'm going to do is crouch. Why am I crouching? Because I don't want this guy to see me come over here. I want this right here to be the first time he sees me. So I'm going to see this, and then I'm going to crouch, right? Then I can have my scope up, lift up, boom. So a lot of times, at least when you're opping, you want to kind of pre-aim the angle. Like, I'm going to pre-aim this, and then I'm going to pre-aim this, and then I'm going to pre-aim this. And then you can see his body here. And then you don't want to come up all the way, because you want to check this. And then instead of having to check everything, you can sit here and check Goose for a second. And then usually, if there's a fire and no one's out, he's going to be right here. Or he's going to be right here, or he's going to be back here. So you have to realize that the angles that you're eliminating, you know, you have to realize, you know, shit, if I threw a molly right here and he didn't come out, that means he's either on the ramp or he's Goose, or he's playing back here. So again, just talking about angles, you know, get in the habit of holding an off angle, holding that weird angle, because you're going to be able to just stomp people, and this line is never going to be crossed. You know, you're just going to sit here. As long as you're making your shots, you're good. And like I said at the beginning, it's not bad to, you know, sit here and just, you know, do like kind of a quick peek angle. That's not a bad thing. It's just like, this is not the angle that you want to start with, you know, because a lot of people like shoulder peek you and find you and then they'll kill you. But, you know, the awkward angles are the best. The awkward angles are going to be the ones that people are like, what the hell is he doing? Are you serious? You know, that's the kind of stuff that's really going to piss people off. For example, I used to play long as an opper. I would play right here. Why? Because I could see them if they were stutter stepping right here, but if they were shooting the long angle and they were coming up and like scoping in right here, they wouldn't even see me, right? They're going like this, I would be over here. So something that you have to realize is that when you're playing a really, really off angle, people just assume that you're not there because they didn't see you first. So it's just one of those things that if you're playing an awkward angle that you don't think is correct, you know, that you're like, why would he be there? That kid is probably playing the off angle. He's probably playing the angle that you're not expecting, which is always a good thing. It really just comes down to you making your shots, and you're good to go. So with that, if you guys have any questions about angles, I'll probably do my next video about peeking and whatnot, but be sure to keep up to date on my YouTube channel with the Swarm training guide or whatever, because we're going to have videos coming out every week, especially in the off season between CEVO and the Escape playoffs. So thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you next time.